This is take 2 because take 1, I was just rambly and fucking weird. Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about mental health. I've talked about this on my second channel, which I'll link below because I have more in-depth things over there about mental health, fashion, beauty, wigs, whatever. But I haven't talked about mental health here in a while, and I was debating whether I would talk about it here because I just didn't know if anyone would care. Just because like this is not this channel's like topic or whatever. You guys voted for it to be here. So I wanted to talk about mental health because I've been doing a few videos here and there that refer to the general world situation right now, COVID. A lot of us have been fucking going through it. It's been an overall, for me, terrible time. Not enjoying this at all.
Pain. That's it.
I'm gonna sound quite jaded in this video, but it's just because that's my coping mechanism, so I'm not trying to make light of the serious things that are going on in the world right now. About a month ago, I think it was, I made a video on my second channel talking about my mental health and how it took a nosedive, whatever. If I was here when I made that video, right now, I'm down here off screen, like below sea level, just like gone. Because summer has arrived and gone. God, pretty much. There are certain things that have taken bigger tolls on me than I thought they would. And I think that I've been just getting really sad because I only have 2 traditions and I only have one tradition that I have honored every single year of my life. And that one tradition is I go home back to Italy every summer. Every single summer since I was born for 27 years, before I was even 1 year old, I would go home and I would see my family, my mom, you know, just be in a place that I feel at home at. Obviously this year that didn't happen, and this is just a small example. I'm by no means in the worst situation and I'm aware of that. I'm just telling you my life example of something that's been weighing on me. And it's almost been a year since I last saw my mom, so it feels a little bit like I'm in lockdown, but I'm also in an internal lockdown because it's not just I can't see her and I can't go home. It's like every single year I've done something and it's something I look forward to every single year, and all of a sudden it's like, you can't do that. And I'm sure all of us have something along those lines that we were looking forward to. For a lot of people, myself included, I don't hype things up typically. I'm not a person that's easily excitable, shocker. But when I put my stock in something and it doesn't happen, it's devastating to me. I don't know why I'm like this, but truly, it's like having something that you're looking forward to all year and all of a sudden it's taken from you and you're like, I don't have anything to look forward to. Now, that's not a realistic thing to say. That's an emotional driven thought. That's not realistic. There are plenty of things I have to look forward to, but sometimes you just fall into that pit of despair where all logic flies out the window. Activities are limited, you know, since you're not really supposed to go out unless it's necessary, blah, blah, blah. It's harder to stay close to the logical when you're stuck with your own thoughts and you're having days that are all very similar to one another. In fact, I think the other day I mentioned that it feels like since March, it's just been one long day or just the same day on repeat because, you know, within the home, it can sometimes feel like there's not much new you can do. And again, that's not true, but it can feel that way. I think that's been one of my bigger problems during this whole lockdown. It's not even that I can't go out, because typically I don't really go out because I'm an introvert, but it's the fact that the few times I do go out, those are taken away. And that makes a massive impact, because if you're relying on those few times to get out, to be social and do your thing, and those are taken away, then you just kind of wonder, okay, so what do I do now? And I know a lot of us are struggling with similar things and other things, which is the reason why I'm making this video. I don't want anyone to feel bad for me. Pity, no. Like, that's not the point whatsoever. I just want to be transparent here. And a couple months ago, I also relapsed on self-harm, which are the marks that you can see on my hands and wrists. I get questions about those a lot, so it's self-harm. And I've been doing relatively okay, but the thing is, and I don't know if you guys experience this as well, you can let me know in the comments, my mental health has been very much a pendulum swing where there's some mornings where I'll wake up and I won't be enthused about being alive, but I'll be okay. And I'll just go through the day, do what I have to do, whatever. And then there's some days where I wake up just where I feel like I'm on the brink, not just a mental breakdown, but where I almost feel debilitated by how depressed and suicidal I am. I'm fine, not gonna kill myself. Almost like there's this tension, as if you're holding 2 magnets really close to each other and you can feel them pulling towards each other, but you can't let them, because if they snap together, you know something terrible is gonna happen. Like I feel like that kind of tension, almost like it almost feels palpable, where I feel like I'm on the brink of just some massively self-destructive act. And when I wake up like that, it's almost like, and this is terrible, but it's almost like I've determined that the day is ruined, so I act like the day is ruined because I feel like I can't get past this feeling. And sometimes the day is ruined, truly. But I also think that in this point in time, there's been a lot of things in my life that I have been acting towards emotionally rather than logically. While everything is good in moderation, when you feel like emotions are overwhelming a lot of your perspective, you can understand how erratic and scary it is when you either wake up okay or so severely depressed you don't feel like you can go on. There are so many terrible things going on in the world right now, and there are almost always terrible things going on, but I feel like right now it all feels intensified for me anyway. And there's a difficulty for me to establish how much I can take within a day of like horrible shit, because I want to stay informed and I want to know what's going on. I want to be up to date. On the other hand, it's also like I feel like there's a threshold of when you see too much, you hear too much, and especially with footage of things being everywhere, it can be so entirely detrimental, especially if you're already in a bad headspace. And I think that's something that a lot of people that I know are also having a difficulty dealing with, finding the fine line between staying informed and being too much online to the point where it will probably fuck up your day. And I find also that a lot of people, myself included, have lost a lot of motivation to just do shit. I feel like one of my personal favorite things about YouTube, apart from like the content obviously, is when you come across videos that speak to you at the right time, almost like it's a quote unquote sign. Not to be extremely cheesy, but too late. I think that's why I love YouTube so much, is because there's so many times that I've come across a video by someone I don't even subscribe to, for example, where they were talking about their own mental health and it just sat with me. I remember the whole next day I was thinking about it because it was very much parallel to what I was dealing with. And while I still was dealing with whatever I was dealing with, it felt like a little bit of a relief, almost like I had had a therapy session without having to talk. Someone else was doing it for me. I'm just here to say, like, whatever you're feeling, you're not alone in that. And I know that everyone kind of says that, but sometimes it's good to hear someone say it to you. If you're struggling, as cliche as it is, just hang on. Hanging on sounds so stupid, but it's just such an underrated thing. So people who don't have depression often don't know how to tell people who are depressed or anxious or have mental illness generally. They don't know what to tell them, and they'll tell them a platitude like, things will get better, you know, the best day of your life is still ahead of you, whatever. And while those are great intentions, and I think that when people say it, they really want you to internalize it and they want you to feel better. When I'm depressed and someone says that to me, it just doesn't do anything. On the contrary, it makes me more solidified in my thought that that's never gonna happen. So when I get into a deeply depressed / suicidal headspace, I've just started to decide I'm gonna hang on. I'm not gonna have a good day. I'm not committing to that. I'm not committing to anything other than hanging on. So if I have a shit day, I'll have a shit day and I'll wake up again and try again, but I'm hanging on. Like, I'm just gonna get through this. Hi, so it's future me. I had to cut off filming. I was getting a little bit overwhelmed. I apologize for all the jump cuts, but I had long pauses I didn't want you guys to see because they were obviously incredibly boring. The thing I want to finish off this video with is just whatever you're going through, if you want to scream about it in the comments in a therapeutic way, obviously, I encourage you to do that. But whatever it is that you're going through, I strongly suggest that you talk about it with someone. And it's probably going to be really uncomfortable and it'll maybe feel heavier for a while, but usually it feels better after. I know there are a lot of things that I myself have been internalizing that I haven't talked about, and then they get worse until last minute I decide, okay, I need to take care of this. And for that reason, I almost got put on suicide watch because I just internalized until I was like, holy shit, I am on the brink of something terrible. And I don't want any of you guys to deal with that, obviously, so just don't let yourself get to that final point where you realize, I should have done something or said something before. And when I say do something, I mean getting help and talking. Not anything self-destructive, we're not here for that. Anyways, guys, I hope this wasn't, like, entirely boring. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll get back to normally scheduled content on Monday, and I'll see you guys next time.